This is Sports Drive.
Welcome into Sports Drive. I'm your host, Preston Moore, once again. Mentioned we're going to be talking about some more high school football. We're going to continue doing that now with Sunray head coach Wesley Boatmun. Coach Boatmun, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to talk some Sunray football. You guys are one of 6 teams remaining in our viewing area, News Channel 10's viewing area, remaining in the playoffs still. But you're one of the only teams that's playing another one of those 6 teams this upcoming week with Clarendon. You guys are facing off Friday night at Happy State Bank Stadium in Canyon. We're super excited for this game in particular because regardless of who wins, it guarantees that we'll have at least one viewing area team in the state semifinal, but we're interested to see which of those 2 it will be. Talk to me a little bit about how you've been preparing for Clarendon, obviously a very tough opponent, and the opponents only get tougher at this stage in the game.
Sure. Clarendon has a dynamic quarterback and the Lyric kid. He's the best player that we will have played in recent memory. Just that talented, and so it's hard to prepare for somebody like that because not everybody's got somebody like that. So we got the closest thing to it, who's trying to simulate some quarterback reps for us on the scout team, and just trying to make sure that guy is accounted for and that we have a plan for him.
Yeah, I mean, Lyric Smith is obviously a very tough competitor, a very difficult quarterback to match up against. But, I mean, in Clarendon, I'm sure they're saying the exact same thing about your quarterback, Armando Lujan, known as one of the better quarterbacks in the state. Talk to me about what you've seen out of him, his performance this year as a whole, but especially in the playoffs, as you guys have been just on a tear since the playoffs started.
Well, Armando is a special player, and he's got a good core of receivers to spread the ball around to, and so he's lucky in that. They're lucky to have him, and he's lucky to have them. And then he's put up numbers again this season. They don't look like last season's numbers, but we are running the ball a lot more than we ran the ball last year. And we're more balanced as an offensive attack, and so offensively, those numbers are there like they have been, but they're not all going toward Armando like they were last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, when it comes to the Clarendon game in particular, you mentioned Lyric Smith will be one of the better players that you've faced in recent memory. Talk to me, obviously making it this deep into the playoffs, making it to the 4th round of the playoffs is an accomplishment, regardless of who you are, regardless of what seed you enter the playoffs as, regardless of which classification you're in. Making it to the 4th round is an accomplishment. Making it to the 5th round is even more of an accomplishment. Talk to me a little bit about what would it mean for this team, for this school, for the Sunray community to make it to the 5th round and to pick up a win Friday night.
Sure. This thing is huge for the community, and when you get into the education business, you realize pretty quickly that school goes how football goes. It can tend that way. So if football's going well, school's going well, kids are behaving, people are having fun, life is good. And so it's been a great fall for us here in Sunray, but it's huge for the community when something like this happens. It's been a while since it has happened, but we've been to the semifinal. We've not won the semifinal, but we've been to the semifinal a couple of times. And so, I feel like that's the bar that we're going to be measured against. Can this team get there? Can this team get past there? And for us to be able to do any of that, we've got to take care of business Friday against Clarendon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys did take care of business just this past week against Wellington. 36-22 win. You guys shut them out in the second half. That's something that is very difficult to do against Wellington. Wellington has been known all season long for a high-powered offense and a strong defense as well. Picking up a win against them, especially 1 week after defeating New Home, another very strong opponent. You know, what do those two wins mean for you guys at this point in the season to not only make the playoffs and win some playoff games, but to do them against quality opponents?
Or, looking at our road, it's not the road that we thought we would have. Ultimately, if you want to get to that last game, you've got to win them all anyway somehow. So we're seeing games that we expected to see, albeit a little earlier than we expected to see them. But I would commend our defensive performance in both games. We were able to hold New Home to 7 points, and that happened late in the game. And then in the second half against Wellington, our defense saved us. We had 2 stops in the red zone, one down about the 3-yard line. And so with our backs against the wall, they really came through for us in a big way. And so, I know everyone talks about our offense, but our defense has really been a huge difference for us in the last 2 games.
Yeah, I think at this point in the playoffs, you have to have a strong offense and defense to continue on in the playoffs. There's always a lot of chatter about the Sunray offense, about Armando Lujan. There's always a lot of talk about him, knowing that he is one of the more talented quarterbacks in the state. But tell me, how important is it to have a strong defense at this point in the season, as well as your offense, to make sure that both units are operating and firing on all cylinders?
Well, it takes them both, like you say. They say that defense wins championships. It's hard to just outscore another good offense. We love our philosophy. We love the air raid offense. We also understand that we hadn't seen very many true air raid coaches win very many national championships. And so the missing link for us will be our defense. Can we hold our opponents, whatever their philosophy is? Can we hold them to 2 scores, to 3 scores at the max? And can we take the ball away from those guys more than twice?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you guys are coming up on Clarendon. We talk about Lyric Smith, their quarterback, obviously a very dynamic playmaker, shifting from running back to quarterback. He knows that he can do it on the ground as well as through the air. So that'll certainly be a defensive challenge for you guys. But in terms of Clarendon, their defense has looked strong as well, holding teams like Groover and Wellington to under 35 points, teams that are used to scoring more than 35 points. They defeated Wellington 36-20 just a couple weeks ago, and then obviously Groover last week 34-32. So when it comes to Clarendon, knowing that they're going to come at you with a defense that is strong enough to hold strong offenses in check, how do you plan on overcoming that?
Well, I think it's just a matter of doing what you do and trying to execute it well. And we're not one-dimensional anymore. Like we have been. We've never been one-dimensional, but we've been attuned much more heavily to the pass in recent years. But for us to be able to run the football and be able to throw the football, that's the first thing that we've got to be able to do against a good defense. One complements the other. And you can't not have both against a team like that. But the other thing, like I said, is being able to do what you do and execute what you do. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just you've got to get the most out of your offensive reps and take care of the football.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, once again, I want to thank you for joining the show, coming on Talking Sunray Football. We're looking forward to this game, 7 p.m. Friday night at Happy State Bank Stadium, Clarendon and Sunray. Looking forward to seeing who comes out on top. Coach, best of luck. Thank you for joining the show once again.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with more Sports Drive right after this break.